If you're planning to get married, there are some important things you need to know, right? Does he exercise? Does she snore? Can he change a light bulb? Where will she set the thermostat? Moving isn't quite at the same magnitude, but it's still a big commitment. Before you make a move to Richmond, Virginia, here are 5 things you definitely need to know. I'm Greg Somerville, a real estate agent here in Richmond, Virginia. As a former pastor, I sometimes throw in a little bit of marriage counseling on the side. No extra charge. The guys usually need it a little more than the gals. My cell number is on the screen. If this video raises any questions or if you would just like some additional advice, text me and let's talk. And feel free to click the link in the description below if you'd like a free copy of my Richmond home buying guide. Richmond is well known for its historic charm, natural beauty, and thriving food scene, but there are some essential things you ought to know before you make your move to Richmond. Things you won't necessarily see on the postcards. In today's video, we're going to cover 5 key areas that are crucial for anyone who's thinking about calling RVA home. Richmond's master plan. 2 years ago, Richmond City Council finalized a master plan charting the city's future. Called Richmond 300, it envisions a city of thriving neighborhoods that are welcoming, inclusive, diverse, innovative, sustainable, and equitable. It targets 6 big moves the city will prioritize between now and its 300th anniversary celebration in 2037. Number 1, rewrite the zoning ordinances, or code refresh. Current zoning laws are 50 years old. The goal is to facilitate population growth through greater density while maintaining existing neighborhoods. It's definitely creating some controversy in neighborhoods like mine. Number 2, reimagine 5 priority growth nodes: downtown, Greater Scotts Addition, Southside Plaza, the Route 1 corridor, and the Stony Point Fashion Park. For example, there's a lot of enthusiasm for redeveloping the Richmond Coliseum downtown, which has been closed since 2019. And the Diamond District project right beside Scotts Addition is adding a new ballpark, a hotel, and lots of new retail and residential space. The city is singling out these 5 areas for growth, both in jobs and population. Number 3, expand housing opportunities. Richmond is intensely segregated by socioeconomic status and race. City planners aim to create more quality housing opportunities in more parts of the city for all income earners. They also want to accommodate more growth as increasing numbers are moving to Richmond. Current population is 235,000 compared to 250,000, which we had back in 1970. Number 4, provide greenways and parks for all. The Richmond's park system was recently rated number 16 among all major U.S. cities. We're not satisfied. By 2037, the goal is for 100% of Richmonders to live within a 10-minute walk of a park. More parks will reduce the heat island effect so common in cities, absorb more rain, and improve overall health. One very exciting example is Mayo Island Park, which is being renewed and added to the James River Park system. Number 5, realign city facilities. The goal here is to improve city buildings like schools, libraries, police stations, and fire stations to consolidate services and provide more efficient shared use facilities. And number 6, reconnect the city. In the 1950s, Interstates 64 and 95 were built right through the heart of Jackson Ward, cutting the neighborhood in half and destroying over 900 buildings. The Richmond 300 plan hopes to cap highways and reident neighborhoods destroyed by interstates. It also envisions making the city easier to access by foot, bike, or transit. 2 projects, the GRTC's North-South Pulse Line and the Fall Line Trail, are already in the works. Both projects have huge potential to make Richmond a better and more connected place. Old city, old pipes. Richmond was founded in 1737. That's more than 100 years after New York City and Boston, but it's almost 100 years before Atlanta or Jacksonville, Florida. It's an old city, and for fellow geezers out there, you know how we get creakier and more crotchety with age. Twice this winter, Richmond had to issue a boil water advisory because of failures at its water plant. The sewer network, originating from the Civil War era back in the 1860s, combined stormwater and sewage in shared pipes, leading to overflows of raw sewage into the James River during heavy rains. Aging sanitary sewers require extensive inspections, upgrades, and replacements in order to extend their lifespan. The city faces a federal mandate to resolve these issues by by 2035, with an estimated cost of $500 million. It's also responding to a federal mandate to replace all lead water pipes by 2037. Similar federal mandates require replacing the city's gas mains, many of which are over 40 years old. Bridges such as the historic Mayo Bridge need rehabilitation to address corrosion and load-bearing weaknesses from decades of use. A lot of people are drawn to Richmond because of its historic charm, but when it comes to aging infrastructure, that charm comes with a price tag. Housing affordability. This past month, the median sale price for a home here in Richmond was $410,000. That's $30K below the national average. According to NerdWallet, housing costs here are 63% lower than they are in the Washington, D.C. area, 61% lower than San Diego, 42% lower than Miami, 25% lower than Phoenix, and 6% lower than Charlotte, North Carolina. But for Richmond residents, housing affordability is the #1 local concern. Why? In 2019, the median sale price here in Richmond was $235,000. Home values have appreciated almost 75% in the past 6 years. Rental rates have followed a similar pattern, increasing by 34% since 2020. And over the past 6 years, tax assessments on my home have increased 42%. According to a report by Credit News, 56% of Richmond's neighborhoods are unaffordable for a median two-income household. In April 2023, then Mayor LeVar Stoney declared a housing crisis for the city of Richmond. Later that fall, the city announced plans to invest $50 million to combat housing affordability with a matching grant from a national nonprofit. Last night, I attended an event hosted by the Department of Public Works, where I spoke with representatives from the Office of Housing and Community Development. They are tapping federal and local funds to provide grants of up to $30,000 for lower-income homebuyers, tax abatement for homeowners who are renovating older properties, and tax rebates for developers who set aside a certain percentage of affordable housing units when doing new construction. Administered by the Richmond Economic Development Authority, this program has approved 25 agreements for a total of 3,213 affordable housing units. Mayor Avula's administration has identified 7 pillars for a thriving Richmond. Number 2 on that list is meet the housing needs of a growing city so that Richmonders at every income level can afford good housing in safe neighborhoods with strong public amenities. As Richmond grows, I'm grateful to know that affordable housing is one of the city's top priorities. As long as we're talking about financial affordability, let me insert this. I'm honored to work with clients at all points of the financial spectrum. Whether your budget is $300,000 or $3 million, you still deserve the same level of professional care and expertise. My cell number's on the screen. If you think I might be the kind of agent who could help you, please text me or give me a call. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Richmond. Purple politics. This is an important election year. In November, Virginia will be electing a new governor, and all 100 seats in the General Assembly's House of Delegates are up for grabs. Since Obama's election in 2004, we have been a purple state. Virginia's voted blue in each presidential election since then. That's mostly been true in governor's races as well, though Glenn Youngkin won in 2021, the first Republican governor in more than a decade. With a Republican governor and a General Assembly led by Democrats, there's been a lot of conflict and not always a lot of progress. So what are politics like in Richmond? But that depends on whether you're talking about Richmond City or the counties that surround it and make up the greater Richmond Metro. Richmond City is solidly blue. It's only had 1 Republican mayor since 1870. The 2 closest counties, Chesterfield and Henrico, vote Democrat, while counties a little further away like Hanover, Goochland, and New Kent consistently vote Republican. I personally appreciate the mashup of political convictions. Though it does sometimes result in awkward conversations, it mirrors the reality of our national demographics. But if you are a die-hard Democrat or Republican moving to Richmond, please know that certain parts of the region will vote your way more than others. Richmond City versus Richmond Metro. When you think of Richmond, what do you think? Street murals, great restaurants, Civil War battlefields, or the beautiful James River? It won't surprise you to know that Richmond has many shades, many flavors. 1.4 million people live within the 90-minute radius of the greater Richmond Metro in communities that are surprisingly diverse. Mannequin Sabbath feels very different than Colonial Heights. The urban energy of Shockoe Bottom seems worlds away from the grassy green fields of Goochland. When you think of Richmond, you may specifically be thinking of Richmond City. It consists of 6 60 square miles on both sides of the river. It's the cultural center of the region. Here you're going to find the biggest selection of unique restaurants, performing arts venues, and annual festivals. But its residents live in very different communities. If you were to make the circuit from the Museum District to Oregon Hill to Rockets Landing to Manchester to Westover Hills and finally to Windsor Farms, you would experience a broad range of neighborhoods. And then there are the surrounding counties. Henrico County includes 245 square miles and 345,000 residents. Its east end is very different from its west end. Hanover County is almost twice as big as Henrico, but it's far more rural. It has less than half as many residents. Politically, it leans more conservative. And then there's Chesterfield, which has recently seen the largest population increase of any county in Virginia. Depending on whether they live in a bustling master plan community in Moseley or near the remote natural beauty of Pocahontas State Park, Chesterfield County's 384,000 residents experience very different settings. Baskin-Robbins has 31 flavors. Well, the Greater Richmond region has a lot more than that. Before you decide where to settle in this wonderfully diverse area, take some time to explore and get a taste of its different neighborhoods. And while you're at it, compare notes with an experienced agent who can help you find your way around. There's a lot more that we could discuss, but that's probably enough for one sitting. Every city has its unique quirks and charms, and Richmond is no exception. But understanding these 5 facts up front can help you make a more informed decision and hopefully ensure a smoother transition to your new life in Richmond. And just so you know, though I'm willing to point this camera at myself in order to share helpful information about Richmond, I'd much rather talk face-to-face with real people, especially when there's a good cup of coffee involved. If you're moving to Richmond, I hope I have the chance to talk face-to-face with you. Until then, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.